Hey folks, welcome to Grad. Noah, welcome back. I'd like to begin with a classic joke. As a turtle is crossing the road, he is mugged by two snails. When the police arrive and ask what happened, the shaken turtle replies, "I don't know. It all happened so fast." As you can tell, it's extremely funny because turtles and snails are both famously slow animals. And now for the speech. When I began work on this speech, more recently than I care to admit, I was confronted with a momentous amount of reflection, more than I'm used to, which is a significant claim, given the near constant bombardment of reflections with which we've had to reckon over the years at QMS, both formative and summative. When the form asking for votes on who should speak for the students goes out, it's kind of like watching the Oscars. You open your email, you click the link, you fill out the form, you know how it works. And you say, oh nice, they're doing a student speech. I wonder what I'd say if I got to do a speech like that. And you think of like three things, and you say, great, I'm ready. And of course you imagine yourself at the podium and everyone's cheering and applauding, and you're like, they love me, and it's wonderful, and you think, oh, what does it matter? It's not like I'll be delivering a speech to the graduating class on June the 22nd, like 8:45. But here we are. And I realize that in making my final address to this group of students, as interesting and impressive as it is diverse, it may not be the content-free parade of applause that I'd imagined. After all, this likely is the last time we'll all be in a room together, and just as it did for the turtle and the snails, the time really has flown by. Having to say something to you all for the next little while, I figured I would end the year in the eternal tradition of reflection at Queen Margaret School by asking, what do I see, think, and wonder? Looking back at my time with the class of 2024. And so I begin by asking, what have we seen together as a class? I'll begin with the traditional. In academics, we've seen effort, dedication, and a frankly extraordinary level of achievement, so regular that we might begin to regard it as commonplace, laundry lists as long as a reticulated python, the longest snake. I never did understand that phrase, laundry list. I mean, does anybody here make a list of what you put in the laundry? I don't. In the world of arts, we've seen the marriage of creative thinking and technical ability resulting in pieces and performances that are thought-provoking and beautiful, ranging from lighthearted to deeply impactful. On the battlefield of physical sports, we've seen a constant onslaught of three-point tries, wrestling showdowns, and free-throw bucket scores. And we have prevailed, or so I'm told by our morning announcements written in the most flowery language I've heard to date. If you wanted accurate sporting terminology, you should have picked someone else. On a more human level, we've seen kindness, mutual respect, and closeness. We've seen it every day, in the smile between friends and teachers passing in the hall, in simple words of encouragement before a test, and in friends and couples studying in the library. Sometimes to an extent which can only be described as shocking and grotesque. Most of all, we've seen resilience. It would be naive to assume that this year has been easy for any of us. After going through more than any grad class should have to go through, we've emerged strong and deeply connected, just as before. And at a time when we could have been forgiven for letting the year slip away without a word, we've made it not only a year to remember, but a year to be proud of. I now come to the part of the exercise which, for me, at least, was always the most difficult, in large part because I never really knew what Mr. Faber was after with this one, that being the thinking section. It would be easy to fill this part of the speech with more ornate language about community and whatnot, but I think we've heard about enough of that for a lifetime, so instead I'll go for some memories. Senior school began with some unexpected turns for our grade, with grade 8 being cut short by the pandemic, leading to our attending classes online. At this point, we were thinking a lot about the world, what leaders were saying, and how many cases would be recorded the next morning or the morning after. We were thinking about how tired we had to pretend to be to make Miss Donaldson think we actually did any push-ups. After returning to school, we resumed thinking about our schoolwork, extracurriculars, how chill each teacher would be about handing in an assignment late on a scale from Mrs. Craig to Mr. Faber. I'm sure you know which end of the scale was which. Over the years, we desperately anticipated the results of the House Cup, praying to whatever deities we believe in that this shall be the year our house prevails. We've heard time and time again about that one time Miss Denny and Miss Gagan were looking into their campfire, talking about what the school would look like. And now, most of all, we've thought about the future. Which makes an excellent segue into the final section of our exercise, which addresses what I wonder about the class of 2024. Of course, I wonder about the big things. When we go out to see the world things dangerous to come to, will we be the preeminent doctors and business people and sociologists, artists, designers, and diplomats of decades to come? I wonder what we'll remember about our time here, and what we'll forget, whose faces I'll still recognize in 20, 30, or 40 years. But I also wonder about little things. I wonder why everyone was so resistant to learning point slow form in grade 10. It seemed like a fine way to write a linear equation, and it works great if you don't know the y-intercept. I wonder which inside jokes will stay funny and which ones will fall by the wayside. I have a terrible suspicion we've never actually said anything that was very funny. And we'll look back with some truly deep regrets, but I digress. That said, there's a lot I don't wonder. I don't wonder whether or not we will continue to be the unique and interesting people that we are. I don't wonder whether the friendships we forged in our years together will last a lifetime, and I don't wonder whether we will face the challenges of humanity with the same determination and finesse with which we have faced the challenges of students. Of course, I don't wonder these things because I know that we will. That concludes the final see, think, wonder of our high school careers, hopefully of our lives. I want to say thank you all for the honor of allowing me to make this address tonight. It's truly been a pleasure knowing you all. Thank you to our teachers. Without your constant kindness and dedication, we would be headed absolutely nowhere in life. Thank you to my own closest subset of the QMS community for getting me through this year. You know who you are. And now to the class of 2024, go out there and be human excellently. You won't regret it.